So guys, in the last lecture we started with a new topic which is called as quantifiers, and I had told you that the quantifier is a special type of connective which is used generally only for a single statement. There are no two statements in this. So only a single statement, if it is used, it can be used with a quantifier. And there are two types of quantifiers that we had seen. The one is for all quantifier, which can also be called as for every, and the second one that we have is there exists quantifier, so for a certain value of x. So let us first of all understand or recollect the first one. When you are working about for all quantifier, I gave you a very important point which says that all observations of the given set must satisfy the given condition in the statement. So you can write over here, all observations of the given set must satisfy the given condition in the statement for having the truth value t. Otherwise, it will be false. As you can see, I have given to you below, which says over here that if any one observation does not satisfy the given condition, then in such a case, the truth value of the statement will become false. So the example that we have written over here is something like this. For all x belonging to A, if I have A is having values as 1, 2 and 3, I want to test if x plus 5 is less than 10. Is it a true statement or it's a false statement? So I have to check all the values of x one by one. I will substitute the first value of x, then I will substitute the second value of x, and then we will substitute the third value. If for all of them I get the value to be less than 10 or the answer to be less than 10, then in such a case I will have it as the true statement. If any one value does not satisfy, say for example in this particular set there had been a value, let us say 6. So when I say that if x is 6, then I will get 6 plus 5, which is equal to 11, and that is actually greater than 10. Because it is greater than 10, then in such a case it would have become a false statement if I had a 6 in that particular scenario. Now in this case, the example that I took before, 6 was not present. So let me just avoid that as of now. And because it is not present, I can say that it is definitely going to be a correct or a true statement. In the same manner, the second one that we have is something called as there exists. It says that at least one observation from the given set of observations must satisfy the condition. In the previous case, we had told all observations must satisfy. Here I am saying at least one observation must satisfy. So now what is the difference? When I say at least one observation, it means that if suppose there are different values, like over here I am having the values of A as 1, 2 and 3. If any one out of the three values of A, they are satisfying the condition which is given, which in this case x square is less than 9 is the given condition. So if any one value square, if it comes out to be less than 9, then definitely I can say that yes, the truth value of the statement is definitely true. But if all the observations do not satisfy this condition, only in that case we say that the truth value is false. Can you see this? If none of the observations satisfy, then only the truth value is going to be the false. The first question over here says that use quantifiers to convert each of the following open sentences defined on n into a true statement. So now guys, we are given over here that it is an open sentence and I have to convert it into a true statement. The first example that is given to me, just observe carefully and then you can copy down later on. It says that x square plus 3x minus 10 is equal to 0. Let me try to find what all possible values of x are being satisfied by this quadratic equation. So we have to obviously factorize it. So I will get over here x square plus 5x minus 2x minus 10 Therefore, x into bracket x plus 5 minus 2 into bracket x plus 5, and on solving it I get that x plus 5 into x minus 2. So from here I can easily identify x is equal to negative 5 or x is equal to positive 2. So now over here guys, the two values of x that I have obtained, they both are absolutely correct. None of the observations is wrong. But the problem is, if you observe your question, just see, he has told us that it has to be defined on n. So now what does it mean by that? Defined on n, by that he means that it has to be a natural number. Now looking at these values, is x is equal to minus 5 a natural number? The answer is absolutely not. It's not really a natural number. Only x is equal to 2 is a natural number. So now guys, I have to identify out of the two quantifiers, that is for every and there exists, which is a suitable quantifier in this example. When I say for every, so all natural numbers should be satisfying this particular quadratic equation. Is it really going to happen? The answer is absolutely not. All the natural numbers will not satisfy this quadratic equation. Instead, or in fact, I should say, there is only one natural number, x is equal to 2, which is satisfying this quadratic equation. None of the other natural numbers are going to satisfy this quadratic equation, and therefore there is only one value of x which is satisfying this quadratic equation. So when there is at least one observation which is being satisfied by the given condition, we have to use the quantifier there exist. So guys, in this case, in order to make it into a quantified statement or a true statement using a quantifier, the correct quantifier which is possible over here is there exist wala quantifier and not the for all quantifier. So how will I represent this? So let us now write the answer. So I will say over here, for x is equal to 2 belonging to n, this quadratic equation is satisfied. Therefore, there exists x is equal to 2 belonging to n such that x square plus 3x minus 10 is equal to 0 has a truth value of t. Second one over here is 3x minus 4 is lesser than 9. Now once again guys, like I did in the previous case, I have to think logically and identify whether all the natural numbers, if I substitute there in the place of x, will the answer be lesser than 9? Then the answer is absolutely not. There can be some natural numbers which I substitute over there, then the answer is definitely going to be less than 9. But actually the set of natural numbers is an infinite set. So infinite numbers, if I go on substituting there in place of x, the answer at certain level definitely is going to exceed the value 9, which is what we don't want. So now I am sure that all the numbers of the set of natural numbers are not satisfying this particular condition. So now when I know that all the numbers are not satisfying the given condition, the for all quantifier has been ruled out. So now there is only one quantifier that I have to consider there exists. So I have to now identify which all observations or which all numbers in the set of natural numbers are satisfying this condition. If any one natural number satisfies this condition, then I can definitely say that the say statement is a true statement. If any natural number does not satisfy this condition at all, then I have to say that it will be a false statement. Now I know that natural numbers, they start from 1. So let me try with the value 1 first of all. So I will consider if x is equal to 1, 3 into 1 minus 4, which is minus 1, definitely lesser than 9. If I have the value x is equal to 2, so in such a case, 3 into 2, that is going to be 6 minus 4. Yeah, that is 2. Again, it is lesser than 9. So I am getting some values. Again, if x is equal to 3, I get 3 into 3, that is 9. 9 minus 4, which is 5. Yes, that is also satisfied. That's nice. So 3 values have been satisfied. So now the statement is true. That is 100% sure. Let me try for one more value and check what I am getting. So I will have, if x is equal to 4, 3 into 4 minus 4. 12 minus 4. So what is 12 minus 4? It is going to be equal to 8. Yes, again it is lesser than 9. Let me try for last value. If I have x is equal to 5, that is 3 into 5, 15 minus 4, that is actually 11 guys, and that is greater than 9. So this is not satisfying. But no worries, I am not worried about the last value. I am happy that there are some values I can see over here which are satisfying this particular condition. Because these values are satisfying the condition, the answer has to be true. So what do I do? When I want to write the answer, I will say x is equal to, which all those values were? They were 1, 2, 3 and 4, which is belonging to n, satisfy the given condition. Therefore, as I wrote in the above statement, can you see this? I have used the statement of or a symbol of there exists. So I will use the same pattern of writing the answer. There exists x is equal to 1, 2, 3 and 4 that belong to n, such that what was it? It is 3x minus 4 lesser than 9 is a true statement, or maybe if you want you can write has a truth value of t. So that's up to you. You can format the answer in your way. That's not an issue. Now let us see the sum number 3, which is n square greater than or equal to 1. Now when I have n square greater than equal to 1, once again as I did in the above two sums, I will once again think logically. What are the values of n that are possible? And if I square them, will that be equal to 1 or greater than 1? So let us see. We know that natural numbers, they all start with 1. So if I take 1 square is equal to 1, satisfied. 2 square is equal to 4 is greater than 1. 3 square is equal to 9 is again greater than 1. In fact, any number after 3, if you try, definitely all these numbers, whatever that are available, greater than 1 is definitely going to satisfy. Because all the values of natural numbers, they are satisfying. Each and every value of natural number is satisfying this condition. So according to this, what do you think should be a correct quantifier over here? Very good. There has to be for all quantifier. So how do we write the statement over here? I will say for all n belonging to natural numbers, n square is greater than or equal to 1 is a true statement. As simple as that. Nothing very hi-fi in this. It's a very easy sum. Alright. So guys, these are the answers for the 4th, 5th and 6th. Everybody can just check your answers, whether you all are also getting the same answers. They are quite simple actually. So now we can go ahead with the question number 2, such that x is a prime number. We have to check whether all the values which are given inside the set B Are they all really prime number, or is that some number which is a composite number? Good. There is one number which I can see over here, number 6. This is actually a composite number. Because it's a composite number, it does not satisfy the condition. So I have to write over here x is equal to 6 belonging to B is a composite number. Therefore, truth value of given statement is a simple F. Okay. Let us see the next one, second one. What is given to us? It says there exists n belonging to B such that n plus 6 is greater than 12. Let me check. Yes, 2 plus 6 is not getting satisfied, 3 plus 6 is not getting satisfied. There is only one number which is satisfying this condition. But this time, guys, the symbol that is available in the question is there exist. The condition for there exist says that if any one value satisfies the condition, I cannot say that the truth value is false. I have to accept the statement and I will say that the truth value of the statement is T. Understood, everybody? So I have to write x is equal to 7, which belongs to B, satisfies n plus 6 is greater than 12. Therefore, truth value of the given statement is T. Come on, in the same manner, I want you guys to try the third, fourth, and the fifth sum. Give it a try and we'll discuss it as we did in the question one. लोगों ने none of elements belonging to B satisfy the given condition. So, truth value of the given statement is a false. What is the fourth one? Y belonging to B such that y square is negative. Of course, truth value has to be false because the square of any number will always be positive. So we can just write it in short. We can say over here square of any number belonging to B will be positive. Therefore, the given statement has a truth value of false. Okay, that's it. And now the last one, number 5. What is it? Y belonging to B such that y minus 5 is a natural number. Is it? Yes. Only 6 and 7 are satisfying this condition. But the symbol that he has used is for all. When the symbol for all is used, all values which are given in the set must be satisfying this condition. So all values are not satisfying the condition and therefore I have to say that it's a false statement. So you can write the answer in the same manner. I am just writing F so that you can get the proper answer. Statement is having the truth value of false. Okay, so guys, in the next exercise, we have to make the entire truth table. So there are some important points which we should know before starting with this exercise. So write down them as a note and then I will start with the first question. Note. Point number 1 you can write down. to make a truth table with two statements, let me consider P and Q. We will have four conditions, or I can say four rows, and just I am leaving a space of 2-3 lines over here. I'll tell you why, just 2 minutes. To make a truth table with three statements, let me consider P, Q and R. We will have 8 conditions or 8 rows. Now the question is, how does this come? See, it's very simple. Because there are only two statements, number of condition is equal to 2 to the power 2, which is equal to 4. Now how does this arise actually? Let me write again a small important point for you. For n statements, number of conditions is equal to 2 raised to n. So in such a case, for two statements, the number of condition is going to be 2 raised to 2, which is equal to 4. In the same manner, in the second one, there are three statements. So what do I get? Over here, the value of n is 2, and now in the next, value of n is 3. So what will be the number of conditions? I will get over here. Number of conditions is 2 raised to 3, which is going to be equal to 8. Now you will be thinking, what exactly is this conditions and what I am talking about exactly. So let me go to a previous page, which was over here. Yeah. And let us try to understand practically what I am trying to tell you over here. Can you see this? I am having two statements P and Q over here. And for P and Q, two statements, I have got four conditions. These are the four conditions that I am talking about. See this. TT, FF, FT and FF. So these are the four conditions which are available for the two statements. So this is actually 2 raised to 2. Now let me show you one more thing. See this below, point number 3. Here I have got only a single statement. So guys, n comes out to be equal to 1. So what should be the number of conditions? 2 raised to n. Here it is 2 raised to 1, which is equal to 2. Can you see there are only two conditions available in this? So these are the conditions that I am talking about. In the same manner, when I come to three statements P, Q and R, I will show you how to get the 8 conditions. But for now, has everybody understood what is the meaning of conditions that I am talking about? Okay. So let's go back and continue with our note. Where is it? I guess it's here. Yeah. So to make for three statements, you will be seeing 8 conditions. I'll explain you how we get that. Let's not worry about that now. As of now, there is one more important point that we need to know. So please take down that point number 3. The point says over here that number of additional columns to be made while making a truth table of given statement is always equal to the number of logical connectives in required or the given statement. Number of additional columns to be made. So now what do I mean by additional columns? Before making the additional columns, I should know what are the basic columns. So there are two things that I will be telling you in the next example. What are the basic columns and what are the additional columns? So let us understand this with the first question of our exercise. Come on. So guys, this is our first question for which we have to make the truth table. So listen very carefully, it's really easy. I want to understand what is the difference of basic columns and the additional columns. So the basic columns are nothing but the statements which are given to us in the question. What are the two statements? The statements are P and Q. These are my basic columns. Sometimes you will come across a variable or a statement R. So in that case, there will be three basic columns P, Q and R. We will come to it later on. For now, let us understand what we should do with the help of two statements only. So now when there are two statements, the basic columns that I will be making will be something like this. Column P, column Q. Below P, I will write the conditions T, T, F, F, and for Q the conditions are T, F, T, F. This is exactly same as the columns which I had written for the truth table. Just observe over here. Can you see this? This is TTFF and this is TFTF. So it is the same और ये हमेशा फिक्स रहेगा. You will not be able to change this. जो चेंज होता है वो ये चेंज होता है. तो इसका यूज करके अपने को अभी पूरा एक नया ट्रूथ टेबल बनाना है. तो वी हैव टू रिमेंबर दीज ऑल पॉइंट्स. So let us see how we apply that over here in case of this. So these are my basic columns. Okay, let me just write that for you. These are the basic columns. So now guys, what are the additional columns? I have written over here the additional columns that are required to be made for a truth table is always equal to the number of logical connectives that are available in this particular question. So how much logical connectives are available guys? I can see connective number 1, connective number 2 and connective number 3. So guys, there are basically three logical connectives which are there in this given question. So for this, you have to make three additional columns. So what are the three additional columns that we will make? Now focus, don't write. The first thing that I will do is for this one, which is negation P, because that is the first element of my bracket. Now after that, the second connective that I can see is for the OR symbol. So I will be using this as my second or the next additional column because it's a bracket. We know that brackets always have to be looked after first. Therefore, I am taking care of that bracket first. So now I will write negation of P or Q. You might think, sir, because bracket is required to be first, why did we not take negation P or Q beginning mein? The simple answer is that I cannot do negation P or Q unless and until I have the values of negation P. Therefore, I am first of all focusing on the values which are there inside the bracket. Then I am coming to the entire bracket. Now I will go outside the bracket. Now what is the notation or the connective outside the bracket? I can see the connective over here is implication. So now this time guys, I will be using this entire statement as my last required column. which will be P implication this bracket which is negation of P or Q. So this is the way we will be deciding what are the additional columns which are required. I am repeating once again guys, just for everybody. So please focus, all those who are having any doubt, I will try to make it as easy as possible for you. So let me write this. This was P, this was implication, once again P over here. And this is, where is it? It is Q. Okay. So how did I make the additional columns? The thing that I used is the connectives. There are three connectives, connective number 1, connective number 2, connective number 3. But I should know how to decide the order in which I have to make the additional columns. So if you know the order, it will become really easy for you. So understanding the order is important. So focus. The first thing that we have studied from the very beginning of mathematics is that look after the brackets first. So what is the bracket? The bracket is this, negation of P or Q. But the problem is, in order to evaluate the bracket, I should have all the elements which I need for evaluating the bracket. What all things do I need? I need negation P and I need Q. Now guys, you will say that Q is already ready. So I agree with you. But where is negation P? We don't have negation P in the beginning. So for that, I am making negation P as my first additional column. After that, now I can switch over to the entire bracket because Q is already available to me. So now I will think of negation P or Q as the entire bracket. So guys, this becomes my second additional column. And then there is nothing else left, only the last connective which is left, which is the implication. And for this reason guys, what I am doing is, I am just taking this entire statement as my additional column number 3. Okay, so guys, these are our fixed columns or the basic columns, and column number 1, 2, 3, they are, as I told you just now, they are my additional columns for this particular sum. Now additional columns will not be the same for every sum, they will be depending on different questions. So after this sum, again I will tell you once again how to go ahead with the other additional columns as per the question. So first of all, let us try to fill up this particular table. It's really easy. Now because I want the values of negation of P, I will just focus on the P column and I will try to find out the negation of that. So now in order to do that, I have just highlighted it for you so it becomes easy for you to identify. I want the first one as negation of T, which is F. Second value in the P column is T, therefore the negation of T is again F. For the next, it is going to be in the same manner, true for the third as well as true for the fourth. So for the next column guys, I have to now focus over here on these two columns and with a symbol of or in between. I am just highlighting it in the respective column. So negation of P or Q. I should know the condition for or. What was the condition for or? If both the statements are F, then the answer is F. Otherwise, the answer is true. So in these particular 4 entries or the 4 rows that I have highlighted, I can see only the second row has got both F values. So in front of it, I will write the answer as F. In all the remaining cases, I am having either both are T or one is T and one is F. So in such a case, or says it's okay, you can go ahead with the true value. I am okay with that. Therefore, guys, the truth value in remaining 3 cases will have to be taken as F. I am repeating this once again. Listen carefully. What I told just now, the condition for or is that I have to remember the condition. Both the statements having truth value of F, the answer should be F. Otherwise, the truth value should be T. So in this, I can see there is only There are in fact both the f values, and therefore guys I will consider the truth value over here in the second position as f, and in the remaining positions I will consider the truth values as t. I require p implies negation of p or q. So guys I have to now focus on the p column and this column, and the connective that is used in between is implication. So in case of this connective, let me do one thing for you guys. Mhm. Let me try to move it out, then I will place it back afterwards so that it becomes easy for you. uh, so now guys let us see what is the condition for implication. A simple condition for implication is that the first statement or the statement which is before arrow mark has to have a truth value t, and the statement which is second one or the after arrow mark has to have a truth value of f. Then the answer will be f, otherwise the trace state answer will be true. So is there any condition where you can see where this is being satisfied? Yes, we can see that this is true, this is false. So first t, second f. So guys the answer has to be f over here. In all the remaining three conditions I can see it is either tt or it is ft, and it is ft over there. So they all are not satisfying the required condition, therefore they should have the truth value of t. So guys the answer comes out to be tftt. Once again let me place it back in its position. So that completes my entire truth table. So now once again the second question over here guys, I can see that there are only two basic statements. What are the two basic statements over here? It is just p and q. So let me first of all write the values of p and q over here. P and q, they are my basic statements. The truth values inside them have to be equal to t, p, f, f. Here it will be tf and tf. So that is going to be there for sure. Now just observe the entire statement and identify what additional columns that I have to make, or how many additional columns will be needed to make. It is already dependent on the number of connectives as I had told you. So this is my connective number 1, connective number 2, connective number 3, connective number 4, and the connective number 5. I am not highlighting that negation P once again because one column has to be there only once in the truth table, even though it can be used for multiple times in the given truth table. So the first thing that I will be doing is I will writing all the additional columns that I require. I require negation P, that's okay, I'll make a column for it. I require negation Q, so I'll make a column for it. Then I am done with negation values, then I'll focus on the brackets. So now this is one bracket and this is another bracket. So let us make the columns for these brackets. So I will get over here, it is negation of P or Q, this is one. Negation of P or negation of Q, this is the second. Now every element has been considered only for the middle and symbol. So in such a case guys, now I will just take this entire part as a last column of my truth table. So for that, let me write it like this. Negation of P or Q and negation of P or negation of Q. As I told you in the very beginning, negation is just interchanging of T and F. So in the P column, wherever you are having truth value T, I will write down it as F. If the P column has a truth value of F, I will write it down the answer as T. So the first two values, they will become F. The next two values, they will become T. This was about the negation of P. Now when I want to write down the negation of Q, I will have to again apply the same logic just by focusing on this column. So what do I do? This is going to be F, T, F and T. As simple as that. It's a very easy thing to be done. Now the next thing that comes, it is negation of P or Q. So okay, so now when I have negation of P or Q, I can understand that I have to observe these two columns and I have to remember the symbol of OR, the condition of OR. What was the condition? If both the statements P and Q have a truth value of F, the answer has to be F. Otherwise, the truth value has to be T. So ऐसा कोई statement है क्या बेटा यहाँ पे? Just try to understand. In fact, just try to find it out. See, I can see the second one over here is having the same thing, FF. So in the second position, I will write it as F. But in other places, I don't have anything like FF. So in all the other positions, I will write the answer as T. So that was the first, or in fact the next additional column that I have. Then I have to focus on negation of P or negation of Q. So in this case guys, it will be this. Again I have to remember the OR condition. Again it is the same. Both the truth values have F value, then the answer will be F only. Otherwise it will be true. So that is again satisfied in the first case. So it will become F, T, T and T. So there goes your next column. And the last, for the last I have to now focus on these both, and the required connective is AND. So what was the answer for AND? If both the truth values are T, then the answer is T. Otherwise the truth value is false. So I can see in these two places as well as in these two places the value is TT. Therefore guys, in the last two places I will write it as T and T. In the first two places I will write it as F and F. So now let us understand what to do in case of three statements, that is P, Q and R. Let me first of all write the basic conditions, or in fact the basic statements, then we'll go and see what was the question, because making the remaining columns is not difficult, but we should now know how to make the columns for the three conditions or the three statements. I'll write over here P, Q and R. Now what have I written over here? If you see, the point says in case of 8 conditions, the basic columns will have exactly double entries of T and F. So now what does it, the meaning of this come out over here? Can you see this? Here I am writing TT and FF. So exactly double का मतलब क्या होगा? जहाँ पे 2 T होगा, in that place I will write 4 times T. And where I am having 2 times F, in that place I will write 4 times F. So here it will become like this. See here, TT and once more TT. Then it was FF only initially. Now it will be 4 times of FF. So this is a very easy logic that we need to remember over here. Now after that, what have I done over here in the Q column? If you see, I have written the Q column as TF, TF. So guys, what will happen? It will all become double. So when there was only single T, now there will be T for 2 times. So now I will write T and T, F and F. Again for the next T and T, and then it is again F and F. So easy. अब आप सोचोगे यार यार तो पहले था नहीं, तो अब इसमें क्या करेंगे? So it's again easy ना. अब तक हम लोगों ने क्या किया? पहले 4 टाइम्स टी लिखा, बाद में 2 टाइम्स टी लिखा. मतलब हम लोग एक्चुअली क्या कर रहे हैं, उसको हाफ कर रहे हैं. तो जब भी हम लोग आर के पास जाएंगे तो उसका और हाफ करोगे 2 का, तो क्या आएगा? इट विल बी ओनली 1 and 1. सो इट्स सिंपल. आई विल राइट टी एफ, टी एफ, टी एफ, टी एंड एफ. इज दैट वेरी इजी? So these are the additional columns that we need, and we are really thorough with that by now. So let's do it quickly. What is negation of Q? I will just focus on the Q column over here now. So I will write over here F, F, T, T, FF TT. Simple. So that becomes your negation of Q. Now, next thing is negation, sorry, not negation, P and R. So now there are 8 conditions. So be careful over here. P column and the R column. These both columns have to be taken care of over here. And the connective used over here is AND. What was the condition for AND? It was two statements, both of them. If the truth value is T, then the answer is T. Otherwise, the answer is false. Let me do one thing. Let me remove this thing from here in between so that I can just highlight some things. I have this T and T. I also have over here T and T. So only in these two places the answer is going to be T. In all the remaining places, if you observe, the answer is definitely going to be false. So let me write that much first. TT, the remainings are false. Okay, I'll just get rid of this, as well as I will bring that in its position so that I can work for the remaining columns now. Now I have to take care of P or negation Q. So guys, for P or negation Q, I require to focus on these two, 1 and 2. So what is the answer for OR? It's very easy. OR says if both the statements are false, then I will accept the answer as false. But if any one statement is true, I want the answer to be true. I have to find out those conditions where both are having the false values. So is there any one available over here? Yes, it is this and it is this. So in these two places, I will write the value as false. And my friends, the remaining entries have to be true. Let us once again get rid of all these additional things और इसको वापस से इसके जगह पे लेके आता हूँ. Yeah, so there you go. अब क्या चाहिए मेरे को? Now I require P and R. This Q column is again and again going outside. Okay, remove it. चलो ठीक है. So let us just focus on P and R now. तो ये दोनों के ऊपर फोकस करना है मेरे को. And the answer is, or the thing over here is, sorry, I think I took a wrong one. Let me make correct. I think I have to now observe this both. Sorry, this both. And the connective used is implication. So what was the answer for implication? The answer was first element should have a truth value of T. The second element should have a truth value of F. So only then in that case the answer has to be F. Otherwise the answer will be T. I have to search, do I have anything of this kind over here? Is it there? No, we cannot see anything like that. So that's great. So none of the answers will be false. Yes, you are right. So all of them have to be taken as true. That's it guys. It is a very easy thing, not at all difficult. Now I am sure, like I did, I am having a digital book, so I am able to remove these middle columns, and I have got all the options. Wherever I want to rearrange them, I can do that. I can just select any entries, I can move wherever I like, I can do anything with that. But that is not possible with you. I know about it. But yeah guys, when you are doing it in your notebook, just try to keep your fingers on that particular columns and try to focus on the remaining columns which are required. So it will be easier for you when you are trying to solve it on your own. Okay.